forward.
Welcome to the Vibranium podcast, the best podcast in the universe, and all those other things that Charlie likes to say in the shows. Today I'm hosting with my guy Ethan. We got a special guest with us, Anthony Hinks, the outside of Pierce. How you doing, man?
What up? Glad to be here. Then and Now. Definitely dig the title too. It's like Then and Now. We doing time traveling and all that. I'm down. I'm all about that interdimensionality of our creativity. So I dig it.
Right on. And I got to give a shout out to the lights you have coming from your mic and the way you look. You look like someone who has traveled through time and understands interdimensionality.
Yeah. In one way more than another, but yeah. I ain't Kang out here, but we all Kang, so it's all good.
we all Kang.
I can definitely see you, Anthony, like in a spaceship playing some surf.
Oh yeah, some surf, some Childish Gambino is definitely the wave right there.
Some Smino.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about your organization with Wakanda?
Yes, so I am a co-founder of a group called the Wakanda Alliance. We are a collective known as the Galactic Tribe, but we came together to look at the comics of Black Panther because we're all fans of it. And when the series The Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda came out, we saw an opportunity to tap into Afrofuturism and thinking about how that could be used as a vehicle for creativity of our own community, not just like creative skills, but also like activist skills, STEM skills, like all the different skills that we could think of. So by reading the comics and kind of breaking down the cultural contexts and all of it, we were able to pass that information on to our community so that they know that Black Panther isn't just for entertainment. Like, it's actually breadcrumbs of our diasporic history that's being used to create this thing. But at the same time, we're able to find our way back to who we are as far as our identity, and also secure a future where Black people are in a future. And, we don't have the same struggles that we currently do. And we've always been that way, even before slavery. So just realizing that, and that's kind of what we do. That's like a small multitude of what we do at the Wakanda Alliance program.
It's meant to illustrate for young, up-and-coming people of color how important being creative and having dreams of making something for yourself, how important that actually is. And that's something, of course, that Wakanda does. It shows you when Black minds come together, we can create a massive empire for good. And so obviously the comparisons to the Wakanda Alliance, it sounds really good.
Yeah. Plus, every kid just loves Wakanda. I may have met a few kids that said they don't like Black Panther, but I usually throw them out.
Throw them out.
Go into the corner. You can't participate. But it's just like every kid has their perception of Wakanda, but it's great to have an environment that also sees the same thing you do, not just like one or two people in the room. You got a whole environment and a whole program structured around this thing that you love. So there's got to be much more to it than just the thing itself. So I think that definitely resonates with the kids, and just giving them a safe space to be nerdy and geeky and weird, because all those kids are nerdy, geeky, and weird. And their parents always tell me that they don't get along with other kids, or maybe they're shy about either about socializing or just reading in general. But by having this environment, they get to break out of that shell a lot. So it's definitely a dope environment to create for them.
Definitely. I mean, in Wakanda, there's so much unity within that community. So finding a place where you can be accepted, and then knowing that in Wakanda, there's such an emphasis on science and knowledge and knowing your history, where kind of like in normal society over here, for Americans, it's almost kind of frowned upon in social circles. So seeing that opposite there is definitely something that you gravitate to easily.
Yeah. The another thing too, this show is called Then and Now. I am then, as far as I was born long before your parents were, Anthony, and your parents' parents.
Damn.
He's
exactly.
Old soul.
Old skin, old face, everything. But I remember when I was growing up, one of the biggest ethos was get rich or die trying, and that was more or less focused on the idea of one person rising above others, especially those within their own community. And Wakanda is very much the opposite. It's very much how a rising tide raises all ships, a community together, they all working together, they all succeed that much more. And I like you said, that you bringing in people that, young people, they may have been like outsiders where they're from before, may not have actually found their place, but in the Wakanda Alliance, they actually do. And actually, all the different disparate people coming together to make an alliance is the way to go.
Yeah. The space itself is we've dubbed it as an intergenerational space. So not only are like kids just learning with each other, or learning by themselves, they're learning alongside their parents and their aunties and their cousins and their guardians, but they're also seeing other kids do the same thing so that they don't feel left out. But they also see that people are learning together. Like there's not a lot of spaces these days where people can come to the same space and learn together. It's either all for kids or it's all for adults. Or if it's like that weird space, like for Kwanzaa and some of those other less attempted to holidays and occasions that people go to, it's just a little bit different than that. And you get to see them create. You get to draw next to your kid. You get to write next to your parent. I wish I was in like a creative space with my parents to see how like their creative mind works, especially if they don't like have that about them. Like your mom was a banker or something like that, but she's always had a creative side that she never really got to show around you. Now you have that opportunity to like really tap into that inner creativity. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I can definitely attest to that, because being at your workshop yesterday, it's something I said that we were there, like, within the workshop, there was a time span where we were all supposed to be consistently writing our own stories. And in that time span, it was about 10 minutes that we gave to us. I got about 2 sentences written for stories in like 10 minutes. And those kids were coming up with full pages front and back in that time span. Seeing that unbridled creativity in that space, it was beautiful.
It's fantastic. I love it. I also love the idea too that essentially, just based off what I just said, that the young are kind of helping the older generations to learn how to be creative in a way too.
Yeah, man, those kids are bright, man. And I remember, like, I always think about how I'm not as creative as I used to be, and I'm just like wondering, why am I so? Is it because of my credit? Is it because I'm trying to pay these bills? Like, I'm wondering. When I was, you know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, though, it was just overflowing. You know what I mean? And I can think about 6 different creative ideas at once in a day, and like I could rock with that. So like trying to get back to my inner self, but it's like the best thing you could do next to just trying to get back to that yourself is helping somebody else out, or being in vicinity of somebody who doesn't have that filter or isn't as jaded. You know what I'm saying? I think that's exactly. A beautiful moment.
Jeez, yeah. I guess the thing is, like you mentioned, the baggage that we have as we get older. Trust me, as a person who's been around for generations, there's all kinds of baggage and things you bring with you, and being unfettered by those things is a good thing.
Question. Can you take us back to the early startings of Wakanda? It's like how did you even know that you wanted to have this workshop like that?
I'll tell you where I was when we started it. So I had left my 9-to-5 job to do photography and Lyft, right? So I was trying to figure it out myself, just trying to be an entrepreneur and try to take the things that I find that I love and make money with them. So I'm a martial artist, and that's pretty much it. I was doing photography, music videos, photo shoots here and there. So I got hired by DQ, who you met yesterday, one of the other co-founders. He hired me to do some photos because they did a screening for Black Panther. And I had just known him from being around in the streets just doing photos. So he hired me to do some photos because they did a screening for Black Panther 1. Then they did an Afrofuturist ball afterwards. So everybody came in their African regalia, DJ, it was immaculate. Like, it was a beautiful scene. So I did pictures for that. So a few months later, he hits me up and he's like, yo, we're trying to do this, we're trying to do a cartoon. And you seem like a dope dude. You seem really creative. Do you want to jump in this cipher of creativity? So I said, yeah. So we jumped in. It didn't work out, but then he kind of segued. He said that after that first movie came out, me and my other homie wanted to keep that energy going because we got to take young boys to see this film. And these were American boys and African boys because of all the immigrants. So it was cool to like create that bridge between them. And so they said they wanted to keep that going. So I said, yeah, I love Black Panther. I'm a creative person. So at first he brought me in just to do photos and like media stuff. But I'm like, I started to like see how I could make it a lesson, right? And I got to start to do my own research. And I'm like, actually researching what happens in Black Panther and all the cultural context connected to it, that's actually fun as hell for me. Like I really had a good time doing it. And I'm good at public speaking. I'm good at holding like classroom etiquette and whatnot. So I said, let me like go full in with this. And that was 3 years ago, 2019. We had our first event in May of 2019, and we've been doing them twice a month ever since. So we've done over 30 workshops, over 40 now. We've had special guests from creatives, artists, musicians. We've had people who work with Marvel also. Evan Narcisse has been on, who's a fan favorite in the Black Panther community. We had writers from Tales of Wakanda, which is a Wakanda anthology. We had them on the program last year, and we've served hundreds of kids, just like both in schools. We've done lessons in colleges, and just our Saturday workshops. So we've touched maybe well over 500 people individually. So. Just in the Buffalo area too. So I'm super blessed to be on that venture. And here we are now, a few months before the premiere of Black Panther 2. So we're just about to get started all over again. So the rocket is fueled up. That's amazing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Did you see this happening? Like when you first, over 3 years ago, when you first were approached to the job, did you ever imagine you'd be able to lead so many people in this way? Did it ever seem feasible?
It did because I really believed in the content that I was looking at. I believed in the whole idea of being able to take a comic, break it down and understand the cultural context, and then bring it to another population that maybe wasn't familiar with it. Or even if they were familiar, at the very least, you get to nerd out with like somebody else. So, and then when it comes to Black Panther, there's so much that's untapped and untouched because of the decisions that Marvel makes, and maybe just like the people who are in charge. Like if there was a whole team of Black POC people who were leading all things Wakanda, there would have been a lot more things out by now. If they had made the decision in the 90s to do a Black Panther film, we would have been on Black Panther 17. We would have been like the same as Spider-Man. But if you can't see the content for what it is, and you can't understand how important it is, or you don't want to see how important it is, that gets in the way of it. So we wanted to take our fanhood back, you know what I mean, and be able to talk about the things that we wanted to talk about because it wouldn't otherwise get talked about, and just realizing how much power again is in the content itself. So because it's not just content, it's our genetics, it's our connected history. So, and that's the most powerful thing we got.
Absolutely. Do you think a lot of because like you said, you've had hundreds and hundreds of people, young people especially, that have worked with you in these workshops and the Wakanda Alliance in general. Do you think you've actually inspired some of them to become creators that would work with Marvel to make more, to create Black Panther movies or Black Panther comics or shows or even things of their own original IPs? Yeah,
I ain't got to think about it. I know it, fam, because like a lot of these kids came in not really having the same aptitude for it, whether reading or writing. The program, I think, definitely affirmed their creativity because, again, they're surrounded by people who understand where they're at, mentally. You're surrounded by other creatives who are much older than you with a lot more experience telling you, yo, that idea is dope. They're not like trying to say, oh, no, that's childish. That's baby stuff. Get that out of here. No. So like we had, Lelouch, you remember Justice? Remember the kid, Justice? Justice is 9 years old. And he was coming up with really complex just things. Like he reads, when he's in his own time, he reads things on wars, but also Minecraft. And also like his dad is a big comic book head. So he has a really dope imagination. So he was kind of upset yesterday because he's not a strong writer. But he had myself and his dad there to tell him, like, listen, it's okay if you don't get the words right. You have a bright mind. Like we had adults telling us how dope you are. Right. So that right there shows that, there's potential shown in somebody, and kids with that at a young age can do anything they want to. So, and even like the parents have come back and said, yo, listen, my kid loves coming here. They feel more creative. Here's their notebook. Like they come and they show me their notebooks and all that. So yeah, it's great. It's really great to see that that there's proof in the pudding, so to speak, you know?
Sure. And even if he's not the world's best writer, he can do other things involving, like, he can be a set designer, costume designer, a director, musician, whatever, you know. So, yeah.
And yeah, not all the kids are into Black Panther, which is totally fine, but we still find them doing creative things and being able to make a story. And I tell them, like, yo, listen, the credits that go into a movie or a film, just look at how many names, count how many names. You can't, like, there's way too many, you know what I mean? So it's like you can fit anywhere in those credits and still be in vicinity of dope things. And you yourself, you don't have to be the top biller. You could be on that list, and that means the world to you, because you made it there, because that's your position. You can own that.
I gotta give kudos for that, because I mean, there are not a lot of spaces that harbor creativity, especially for people like us. So being able to instill that confidence into the community, so not a small thing to imagine. Like a space where they can truly be as creative as they want and not have their dreams shut down by all the realities where all the buzz going on outside. That is a unique space that I think we need to love. So I definitely appreciate that.
100%. Yeah, we were talking before in our live show earlier about how important dreams are and a safe place to dream. When I was a kid and I was a pup thousands of years ago, I would have loved for a place like this. There was no place for creative Black kids to go to just be creative. It didn't exist. You could go to a basketball camp. We could go to something that helped you aspire to be the world's next big rapper. But as far as something like this, that I was into, like a nerd, like you said, nerdy, or into something completely different, it didn't exist.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that. Because I wasn't. I didn't really have much like that myself either, and that was only like less than 30 years ago. So. For it to be kind of a revolutionary thing that we're starting, because no one else is doing it, right? There's no like Gotham Alliance, there's no Metropolis Alliance, you know what I mean? So it's like we just have a rare opportunity to utilize that. And even like amongst other Black Panther fans, like they want to not complain. I mean, a lot of them are in weird spaces. Some of them are like diehard T'Challa fans. Some of them are on like the teeter-totter or whatnot. But it's like to be able to take your fanhood and elevate it to a point where it's being used to change your community, like actually change your community. The same way like people have Star Wars, right? You got the Stormtrooper people. You've got people who are diehards and do their own clubs and all that. They have lightsaber training academies and all that. You know, why can't we have something like that? And you know what I'm saying? So, there's just so much more left to do, and that just keeps me busy, and that's what keeps me going, for sure.
Of course, we have to address the elephant in the room then. You've seen the trailer for Black Panther 2?
Yep. I was actually with Lelouch when we saw it.
Oh, you were all word? Okay, right on.
We watched it twice, back to back. Well, not back to back, because we were walking to get some food. We watched it the first time in the middle of the street. Stopping traffic. And we just all sit around and Hogan's home for like 2 minutes and watched this whole trailer. And it was crazy, like, getting to see Angela Bassett go on a rant. I'm really hoping that they unleash her more in this movie. She
must be immortal, because she's still like way too good a shape, and like and it's a weird thing to say, but I feel like just looking at the cinematography and how the story looks like it's unfolding in that trailer, it looks like it's an even better film than the first one. But I just want to get you're much more fluent in Wakandan than I am. What are your takes? What do you think about the film?
I think the film, it's tough to say, because there's been a huge controversy, of course, over the last 2 years, because of the recast decisions and everything that's going into it. And at first, I was just like, these are just a bunch of fanboys who are raging, because they can't get the thing that they want. But then I'm thinking about it, like a lot of these guys have been waiting decades for this character to come, like literally decades for this character to come alive, and being exposed to so much aggression towards Black men, both from non-black people and black people themselves. So for this character who seems like the epitome of black masculinity, you know, for that to be shorted, I understand why people will be upset. And I also feel a ways towards people who think who are using Chadwick's passing as a plot device, and that can go one of two ways. So if you do that, you have the potential to have a redemption of some sort. So maybe he isn't passed, but the people who are galvanized by his passing, like us, who actually had to deal with the passing too. If we're in the same, y'all still hear me? The sound. Okay. If we can be galvanized because we've lost leaders so many ways before, maybe we'll see something familiar by this cast going through the same thing. So I think that there's potential for the story to do really well. And I do have faith in the rest of the cast. Like there's a bang up cast: Letitia Wright, Winston Duke, Angela Bassett, that we were just talking about. And I think that they do have potential to tell a really great story. But I'm also saying that being aware that we're still in America, we're still surrounded by people who don't look at black people with the same value, and will portray that in the film. Sure. And also there's some synchronicities between T'Challa in the movie and T'Challa in the comics, because right now Black Panther fans hate the comic because they're making T'Challa seem less of that perfect man, perfect person, or nigh perfect person. But it's like so far from his personality, so it feels unfamiliar. So it almost seems like they're trying to kill him off in the comics as well. And then they got the news of this new game coming out where the game is based around somebody has passed, and now there's a new Black Panther on the rise. And that's all they said. Like they didn't give any detail about the story besides that part, that somebody had died, and now there's a new Black Panther on the rise. Right. So it's hard not. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm saying it's hard not to feel away when you have all these things that seem familiar to you and that are triggering to you, and nobody else is listening to you because they think you're being an anti misogynist, that you don't want to see a black woman on the throne. And it's not that. It's that just that you're sick of being a black man and having your reputation tarnished because people are respecting you. Right.
So a couple of things that game. So what I'm hearing for the premise of that game is you're supposed to be actually making your own character, and that person's going to be listening to the kind of exactly how that's going to go. They better have as many customization options as it was in the 90s, right. Where it's just a black person. You can just change the black features. You can't change none of that. You can't make them super light skinned. You can't. You can give them like the skin condition where you can have the patches. That'd be fire if you could do that. But you know. Yeah. But the paper bag, you can only be so far up on that paper bag list. So maybe they'll do something like that. And at that point, I'm cool with. It can't be no weird hairstyles. You know what I'm saying? You can't do it. You can't put a bowl cut on this character. They gotta have braids, locks, a buzz cut, the high fade. You can do all that, but ain't no bowl cuts. You ain't gonna be looking like no damn Brady Bunch member in this damn game. You know what I'm saying?
That's a big thing. That's oh my God. See. Character customizations like in the FromSoft games, like Dark Souls, they are tragic. It's like they do not have any. They don't care about trying to make people of color look anything remotely human. So that's a good point. I am curious to see that because you would think that if they have the IP to do a Black Panther or a Wakanda game, people at least want the option to play as T'Challa. So it's a weird thing.
It's still early in the speculation for looking at
Yeah.
The Black Panther movie. I gotta know, man. Who is your Black Panther? Who is going to be wearing Black Panther on November 11th?
Who you got?
Yeah. I really would like Shuri to be it, not only because of comic continuity, but also because she's just a dope character, and I think people are doubting her ability right now. So a lot of people were saying, "Oh, she can't be Black Panther. She can't fight." You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, okay, well, if she loses her brother in the film, now she got a reason to fight. You know, so I don't know if Letitia's been toning up. I haven't been following her like that, but I think that her being super intelligent and a special combatant, that makes for a really dope character. Now with her and Riri working together, I think there might be more than one Black Panther suit or more than one suit that they're going to be using. In the trailer, they had like the Midnight Angels who are wearing the blue outfits. You know, they have that armor, but I think that's going to be more Wakandan focused. But if she gives upgrades to Shuri and Okoye, maybe even Queen Ramonda, maybe they all get upgrades. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely think Shuri should be in that suit because I think she is an emerging leader, an emerging combat specialist, and just an emerging character in general. Like even her comic counterpart is dope, right? For her to have access to all Wakandan memory. She's got different powers she can utilize, also being one of the smartest people in the Marvel universe right now. So I think that it just makes sense. And we've also seen Shuri not just in one universe be queen, but also in other universes be queen as well. There's a story called Black to the Future, just one-off annual joints that Black Panther had, where there's a future T'Challa, Storm, they have kids who are about to get married themselves, but Shuri is the queen in that one as well. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, that both T'Challa and Shuri both belong as the Black Panthers for the current span of time.
Right on. Like you said, obviously in the comic books, there's already a precedence of her being the Black Panther. And also just in the continuity of the films, the MCU, it is supposed to be, it's a mantle passed down to the family. So if her family has it, she's at least eligible for it. And I think also the fans, obviously, Shuri was, Letitia Wright's portrayal of Shuri in the films, she became a fan favorite. I know there was some weirdness that happened, like behind the scenes on making part 2 with the pandemic and everything. But hopefully she's around enough to be. I'm not opposed to her being Black Panther. One of our co-hosts, Charlie, he swears up and down they'll find a way to make Killmonger Black Panther.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad! You keep digging!
It's like that feels like you're undoing the entire previous film in every way possible, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know. It is Marvel, and once you put the word multiverse into something, anything can happen. Nobody knows what's gonna happen. Like it's all up in the air right now. Yeah. I'm definitely excited for Jonathan Major to continue as Kang. Like I think he's about to be one of the top billed actors. Period.
Like I don't need to see more Paul Rudd. I'm gonna have to watch the movie now just for John Majors. Like I'm that big fan of him before. So
yeah, that's why they put him in that. They're like, they know that people wouldn't watch that Ant-Man 3 unless they put Kang in there. So I was like, they put Jonathan Majors in there for that reason. Yeah.
Now, a question for you: is there anyone that you absolutely just would not want to see put him into Black Panther? Just this person should not get it.
Just like a character or an actual actor?
Character in the Black Panther.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, cool. So I was about to say, don't bring no Tyrese up in here.
Thank you.
Don't be casting no damn Tyrese. Don't do it.
You have no idea how relevant that is.
Oh my gosh.
We did not set him up for that. We did not come at all. We knew nothing about that.
Oh, there's some history with that here, huh?
On this channel especially, there's a lot of
history. We talk about
Bro.
There's like 20,000 views. That's it. Yeah.
That's great. I've been in different fan networks, and some of the fan choices they have for Black Panther and Storm are atrocious, bro. Like, it's ridiculous. I think somebody said Jonathan Majors should also be casted. Like, even though he's already cast, I think he should be a T'Challa. I'm just like, I don't know about that. People say Denzel can still do it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, come on.
He can play T'Challa, sure. Right.
Yeah,
Michael J. White. I'm like, y'all bugging, son.
He's older than me. Yeah, like you said, if they made these in the 90s, it'd be a different story. Of course, I could see Denzel in the 90s playing it. Michael J. White would be perfect in the 90s, but it's like...
Bring that Spanish to Black Panther.
Yeah, it'd be great. But it's like, I love they weren't, you may know this better than I did, Anthony. Wasn't Angela Bassett like in talks to play Storm in the original X-Men film? Like,
I believe so.
Yeah,
I think so. She would have been great. Some people think that Halle Berry should come back, and I'm just like, no.
For Storm?
Yeah. One of my cousin was like one of those hardcore. Yeah, she should do it. I'm like, no, shut up.
Not anymore.
Yeah, nah. I mean, she's still hot. She's still gorgeous. Yeah, no, we don't. Yeah. But to get back to Lucia's initial question, I wouldn't want to see Baku as a Black Panther. for a number of reasons. Just because that definitely wasn't him in that suit at the end.
There's no reality when she was there. Yeah, no offense to Winston, but yeah.
I think he just does so much better as M'Baku because I think he gave M'Baku probably the best rendition that we've seen. Period.
The least offensive.
Yeah, right. For real. And I think that I think that Winston's character matches that ideology, just that persona a lot better, and I'd rather have him swinging that big old club than him being in a powered suit. Like I'd rather see that because he's a beast. So exactly. So I wouldn't want to see M'Baku. I wouldn't want to see Queen Ramonda either, just because her role has always been like an advisor of sorts. Like if she wants to fight, she can fight. Like she can get down. But as far as like just for any weird reason that they might decide to put her on the throne, I wouldn't be able to see it. I think that she just works better as being that motherly figure. So,
could you see Lupita? I don't think it's even possible for Lupita Nyong'o's character.
Nakia. Yeah, I really want to see her become Malice. I think that would be a switch for a lot of people. So in the comics, Nakia becomes evil because I forgot what the reason was. I think she was obsessed with T'Challa, and then she had some mental thing happen, and she got with Killmonger. It was just a whole thing. But I think a lot of people who are new fans aren't expecting it. So I think that would be a pleasant surprise if somehow they made her, turn evil. The way they do it is important though, because there's just been so many stupid rumors out. Somebody said that Lupita has T'Challa's child and then loses the baby, and then that's why she goes crazy. And I'm like, that's real triggering. You know what I mean? So
We already had a similar plotline with Wanda.
Exactly. Right. And it's just like Marvel just sucks at showing Black relationships. I made a TikTok about just all the Black characters that Marvel has cinematically who are just either single or just don't have a thriving relationship on screen. We don't get to see the Black love. We don't get to see the Black family unit. And they've done it for all the other characters though. Like almost every other character has a partner and or a child or a functioning family for at least a short amount of time. But Black people, we don't have any.
The closest was actually your boy Winter Soldier with Anthony Mackie, Falcon's sister.
Oh shit!
Almost. And that didn't even happen.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, y'all niggas better not. Yeah, better not. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't let this be the token white boy all the Black girls love. No, I don't want that. I'd rather see Luke Cage pipe down a bus full of a bachelor party. I'd rather see bachelorette party. I'd rather see that. I'd rather see that. Come on now.
Basically, I mean, you saw that show. He was laying pipe. One big question I have to ask, I'm a fan of the comic book.
Sure.
Riri Williams, do you think they actually will show Riri Williams actually in the Ironheart suit? Because I know there's a lot going on in this movie. Do you think they'll have time to give her a full-blown Ironheart suit?
I think that they should, because when she was first discovered, she had her own suit. That's how Tony found her. So she had her own prototype of the suit. So I think her being in Wakanda, it's hard not to try to build something incredible with that. So even though we haven't seen anything in the trailer, we've only had one trailer to go off of. Exactly. So there was only so much that we've seen, even from like the Dora and all that. So, and that's why I'm trying to avoid trailers as much as possible, because I don't want to. I'm good with that one. I don't want to see anything else. I just want to go and be pleasantly surprised. But I think it makes sense to have her, especially if they're going to be doing anything underwater. I think that's where she would come in, is to be able to fight underwater.
Word. Okay. Fair enough. Good call.
They have shown one of the suits that we were supposed to have. It's pretty reminiscent to what is my brain is just not working well. Brody's character. What is his suit?
Oh, War Machine.
War Machine. Thank you. Her suit looks kind of similar to War Machine. It's kind of like a head scratcher for me when it comes to reading, because I always picture her suit as a bit more slender.
He's always
I mean, we'll see how it turns out, but it's like I think looking at it is kind of disrespectful to like Shuri, why you let your friend go out? All of this Wakandan tech, you can't let her go and look at like she bigger than me in that suit.
Why you let your friend come out like this? Why you let your friend come out like this?
cannot do that. Like, you
No.
cannot do that. I'm sorry.
Did Ironheart ever have vibranium in her suit? The comics?
To my knowledge, I don't think she has. I think she's always
Vibranium.
like utilized her own joint. I think they're probably saving that for the movie and then maybe the next comic iteration of her character.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
if she has her own movie, a spinoff, or whatever, she has her own film down the road, she might do something like that.
Yeah, that'd be tight. Yeah, that'd be real tight. hmm Yeah.
Now, do you have any expectations on how the plot is going to go for that movie? You think it's just going to be a straight up battle between Wakanda and Atlantis, or you think it's going to be a little bit more self-battle?
Yeah, I think that there's going to be. Well, I think that T'Challa's passing is one of the driving points of the movie. I think they're going to start the movie off with that part, just to kind of set the pieces in place for that. As far as the rest of the plot, between Wakanda and Atlantis, things are heating up. I don't know what the actual conflict is. I don't know where it starts. Maybe, if anything, maybe they blame the Atlanteans for T'Challa's passing. And, Namor is just like, he's just one of those characters where if you got smoke with him, he got twice as much smoke with you. Like, you didn't have to do much to piss him off, to make him pissed off. So you can accuse him of being something and be wrong, but he still don't beat your ass for it. So I think
or
that.
still your wife, Reed Richards.
Or bag your chick. Yeah, he's just so petty. So I think that'd be a lot of driving force. I would like to see if they could do I think it depends on how T'Challa is passing too, because obviously if they're having a funeral, he had to have passed some way. So are they gonna show him like off screen in a ship being blown up, or whatnot? Maybe they go searching for T'Challa and maybe they don't find him, and so there's like a search is still on type of thing. I would like that more than him just being dead. So for example, like maybe towards the end of the movie, or maybe like post credits, they get like a signal or something that shows he's still alive actually. Or maybe they do something like where Doom has him chained up somewhere and they don't know about it. So you got that drama behind it. Like, they don't even know he's alive. Like, yeah.
Bringing Doom into it also. Bringing Doom.
That sets up Fantastic Four. That sets up, things that are going to happen later on down the road. Maybe Doom was after Vibranium, so he took out the king, but also wanted to probe his mind for his knowledge or whatnot. So I think there's some clever things they could do there. But if they don't give us a T'Challa hint, I think there's going to be a lot of backlash from the community, because at that point it's going to feel like they're killing off Black manhood, which has been the concern from the start. So Disney has to be smart about that.
Yes, but I do trust Ryan Coogler. Like he's obviously still involved. I couldn't see him fumbling the ball that much. Like all his fruitful station to Creed to I can't see him making that much of it.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
Even in the first Black Panther movie, like from the writing standpoint, Ryan Coogler did his thing. My interest in that more so just for CGI.
The CGI.
Oh boy, the credit, the legendary.
Disrespectful
CGI.
So as long as they don't do that, I have no complaints for this movie coming up. But I just think they have a responsibility to handle the passing of T'Challa correctly. They have to do that right. If they do, if they literally actually have to pass, or they're brought up like kind of like what they do with Fast and Furious with Paul Walker having right off to the sunset. I wouldn't be too upset about it. It has to be something that does not make light of that, because he's a very important character to us as a community and to your franchise. I mean, Black Panther was the best part of Civil War. He was a big part of the War. I mean, it literally ends in Wakanda. So I mean, they definitely have a responsibility to make sure that they get that racial. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Please don't go for it. Please don't.
Yeah. And even in like the other films and other properties, like he's a big part of Fantastic Four because he's one of Reed's best friends. He's a big part of the Avengers period because of everything he does for the Avengers. Even like Daredevil, he's had run-ins with him, and he's had run-ins with Luke Cage. Like him and Luke Cage are tight, so it's like you can't keep going without T'Challa. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
So
yeah. And it was also even in our reality, the real world. He was a big part of our not just our community, but just the world mourned Chadwick, and obviously T'Challa's passing. I mean, it was a big thing that happened. You can't steamroll past that.
Yeah, I do think that it's good that they do a cinematic portrayal of a send off. I think that this is good because very few people have been celebrated in the films in the franchises that they contributed to. So I think that was a good move. Again, that's some people see that as like using Black Death for a plot device, but I think that was actually very respectable for them. So I think that was a good sign. So whether they want to bring in that interdimensional T'Challa or, our current 616 was captured or, had to fake his death to protect Wakanda security or whatever, I think that, that was a good move.
Fair. That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, if this was another podcast, some people would be tearing me up right now. I'm already knowing.
I can't. What's the point of tearing apart your guest? You're taking time out of your day to be on our show. Why would we tear you apart for anything you say?
Yeah, and them Black Panther fans don't care. Them stands, I call them to stands, like T'Challa, like to stands.
To stands.
And they really like just hate your guts because they think because you haven't read Black Panther for 40 years, 50 years, 30 years, that your opinion isn't as good as theirs, and they can't like respect new fans being brought into the whole thing. And you're a bandwagon fan, and it's just like, and I'll be honest, like I wasn't a hardcore comic reader until I was in my 20s, and then trying to go back and capture everything and store everything, I just don't have it built the same way that they do. But it doesn't mean I'm still not a fan. And again, I'm taking my fanhood and trying to change my community. So if you ain't got nothing for that to contribute to that, I don't want to hear it. And that's straight up what it is.
But I think gatekeeping in general is just fuck it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make sense to me. If you would enjoy a particular thing, or if you're in the fandom for something, shouldn't you want more people to be able to become a fan of that thing? Like, like that just only makes sense to me. Like, I get like us as nerds kind of have to go through our trials and tribulations of being a nerd in the time that we were a nerd. But it doesn't mean that we have to go and inflict that injury onto the next generation as well.
Exactly. That's part of the show. Then and Now is all about celebrating the past so that the future can be that much brighter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't lived for 1,000 years just so that I want people to celebrate stuff the same way I did back before dirt was invented.
Word. Yeah, man. And that's the thing, like for us to do Wakanda Alliance and have kids in person so they can get out of those comment sections, because that's where all that shit festers at, is being outside of the social media aspect and just being around your community, not just people who, just there, like they actually live next door, they live in the same neighborhoods you do, or they live in some neighborhood that you have somebody who you love, so it's just like, that's just like the magical part of it. So just keeping it growing.
Speaking of the Wakanda Alliance, do you have like a website that we can go ahead and feature? Well, obviously put it in the
Yeah, all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Wakanda Alliance Program, we're the only one. Our website is thegalactictribe.org. So again, we have the Galactic Tribe as our collective because we do things outside of the Wakanda Alliance Program. So but if you look up Wakanda Alliance Program, you look up Galactic Tribe, we're going to pop right up. We should be the only ones. I check the SEOs to make sure that function worked properly. So, yeah.
All right. So there it is, galactictribe.org. Hit it up. My spelling could be horribly wrong. I apologize if it is, but that's
no, you're good. You're good.
And we'll also have it in the show notes too.
Sweet. Appreciate it. No doubt.
Before we start getting out, is there anything you want to shout out, give special attention to?
Absolutely. Yes. So Wakanda Alliance is taking over the fall. Just want to let everybody know that right now. So we have two pivotal movies that are coming out. We have The Woman King in September. So The Woman King is based on the Dahomey Warriors, who the Dora Milaje were modeled after. So we're going to be doing a film screening, a pre-screening for The Woman King. So we're going to close out the theater, special guests, all that stuff. So we're going to close out the theater and have that discussion. We're going to close out the theater, watch the movie, and then the following weekend, we're going to do a panel discussion featuring dope women in Buffalo. We're gonna have a panelist, panel of all those dope women, and talk about the Woman King and womanhood, and whatever else pops up. In November, of course, we're gonna do a Black Panther 2 screening. So we're gonna be doing projects around that. So not just the movie itself, but like other projects going around it. Maybe a fashion show, maybe a ball, maybe a science project or something like that. So we're working some things out, still trying to set everything in place. But the idea is just bring people together again, because I don't know what happened in y'all respective cities when Black Panther came out, but we were renting out theaters and all that, and we really had a vibe going. So just to do that times 5 this time around is going to be immaculate. So we're really looking forward to doing it. Mm-hmm.
I love it. And you said that you officially have Viola Davis in person coming there.
Listen, that was my dream. That was my dream. You were thinking of, but we were looking at a couple of the guests. We were trying to reach out to some, but we haven't received a hard yes from anybody yet. But one of the other people we were looking at is Samurai, who's on Instagram. She's just like the face of Black women in martial arts right now.
Yes.
I would love to get her on the show. So we're still trying to work some things out. So in any case, whatever we do though is going to be like nationally recognized. I have no doubt about that in my mind. And, thanks to people like, yourselves here on the Thin and Now podcast, we can get that message out and, just really sound that beacon off to let people know, like, yeah, this is going to be one of the most controversial movies ever, but this can still be one of the most powerful movies ever. But you have to believe in that, and you have to believe in the people who are around the film, not just in the film or a part of it, but who are part of it on the outside as well.
And the real story too.
Yeah.
So we may have you back on.
I'm probably gonna try to make sure I'm with the Wakanda Alliance for that, especially the Black Panther 2 release. But,
oh yeah.
The Woman King as well. But
but
we gotta get you back on the show to be part of our review for it. So,
yeah. Let's do it. Absolutely. Ain't nothing but a word, man. Just holler at me.
Right on. I personally can't thank you enough for spending time with us on our little show, man. It's you're an inspiration to me, even though you're so much younger than I am. So thank you so much, man. It's a lot.
I'm glad I can please my ancestors. I appreciate that. I'm catching on. But yeah, man, it's been a pleasure, man. Anytime I can chat with good brothers, man, I'm always down for it. So whenever y'all want me back, man, just holler. I'm with it.
We will.
Yeah, so
we're going to see a lot more things from the Wakanda Alliance in the future. We're going to try to get. I'll talk to you a little bit about it, but we're going to try to get the show
For sure. And y'all follow my personal page on Instagram too, at @ace_the_outsider. That's my personal page. I just do jokes. I make funny posts. I do capoeira as well, martial arts things. So that's a dope page. If you just you want to follow somebody cool, follow Ace the Outsider. That's my profile. Yep. Boom shiggity. That's the one. Word up. Cool.
Thank you for coming in with this. We're going to wrap it up here. This has been a great interview. And we're going to keep the series going. We're going to talk about what we want after the shorts.
Big bet. Let's do it.
Big Now Podcast. And we do not invest in